First, I want to send heaps of gratitude to all the members of the Jane Addams Children's Book Award Selection Committee for doing this important work, especially during another challenging year. I'm humbled to be in the company of this stunning list of fellow honorees. I also want to give a special shout out to Namrata Tripathi at Kokila and Penguin Young Readers, and Sarah Crow at Pippin Properties for always supporting my work. How to Find What You're Not Looking For is a deeply personal book for me. It's inspired by my own parents' marriage in 1968. This book idea actually started from a conversation I had with my editor a few years ago about the 1967 Loving versus Virginia ruling, which banned all laws against interracial marriage in the US. I don't remember why we were talking about it, but it started me thinking more about my parents and what they experienced when they chose to get married. My mother is Jewish, born in the US, and my father is originally from India. I thought about what would have happened if my parents had chosen to marry before the Loving ruling in another state like Virginia. My mother's parents didn't support their engagement at first. My father's parents weren't living at the time, but he was questioned by his siblings. My parents decided to marry anyway and celebrated their 53rd wedding anniversary this year. So I did what I usually do when I have deep thoughts like this. I wrote a book. I didn't want to tell my parents' story exactly, and I also wanted to think more about my own Jewish identity. So I created Ariel, an 11-year-old Jewish girl growing up in Connecticut in 1967, whose older sister falls in love with an Indian college student. In the book, when the couple elopes against their family's wishes, it changes Ariel and the way she connects to the larger world. Over the course of the novel, Ariel experiences anti-Semitism from a bully in school. She also sees how her parents and others react to her sister's fiance Raj and his Indian background. She thinks about what her sister Leah and Raj are facing, and what it means for her to be part of a marginalized community experiencing prejudice, but also having white privilege. She sees the violence around her with the Vietnam War and Dr. King's assassination and racial protests across the country, and wonders how peace is attained, both with the conflicts in her own family and in her country. She thinks about how she should stand up against the anti-Semitism she experiences, stand up for Leah and Raj, and tries to understand why her parents don't approve of their marriage. She ultimately learns that peace doesn't always come peacefully. Sometimes there is pain and conflict on the road to a more peaceful world, but it's always worth fighting for. On the Jane Addams website, it says, "We envision a future where people actively work to dismantle injustices and build a more peaceful, equitable world." I try to put that spirit in my work because that's the future I envision too. Lately, every day, that dream seems harder to attain. But I will never stop striving with my stories, and that's why I'm so honored by this recognition. Thank you again, and wishing peace for all.